the Acoustic Shoppe channel on YouTube. We appreciate you tuning in. Today we are going to be comparing a couple of our most popular mandolins, the Eastman MD315 versus the Eastman MD515, and see if you guys can tell the difference. We'll talk about all the different specs right after this. Hey guys, thanks for tuning in to another little video we're going to do on reviewing mandolins this time. We've got a lot of guitar ones. It's time for some mandolin videos out there. And these two are a couple of my favorite models, ones we sell a bunch of from Eastman. But we're going to start with that MD315. Before we do that, let me introduce John over here. In case you are just tuning into the channel, be sure to like and subscribe to it and share it with all your friends. Comment below if you like anything we say or disagree with it. That is probably the most common.
Everybody wants to disagree with us.
And we also do have some tone samples at the very end where we compare these two back to back, and a full video of us slaughtering a song, so you can watch that as well.
We slayed it,
That's
buddy.
all in the descriptions below.
Today is my most uncomfortable day. This is the day where we get to talk about mandolins. I love mandolins. I have studied a lot on mandolins. I'm not going to claim that I am a
I'm glad to hear you say you love them, because I have a lot of my students upset that every video you do, you put down mandolins and mandolin players.
I do.
And it's
but they deserve it. They have this ego because they can play fast and do this stuff, and I'm just like, they need to be brought down.
It's not the guitar player / lead singers that have the ego in a band. Anyway, speaking of ego, John, why don't you start this off with... let's talk about that 315.
We're going to talk about the two most popular mandolins from Eastman in the F-style range. This is the 315 and the 515. I want to say that the 515 is the first of their quote pro model or pro level instrument, where this is an intermediate level instrument here. Not to say that it can't be played in a pro. No. We had a lot of flack on that before. Somebody was like, you can't play a 300 series on stage. Absolutely you can. You've proven that. You've got one, you love it, and great mandolin. So anyway, yeah, we can talk about the 315 first. The 315 is kind of, if you're going to get a good quality F-style mandolin, this is the one. And you're on a budget, this is the one I would say to grab.
This is one that caught my attention gave me the Eastman bug, I would say. We had a guy that's selling them in town before we even had a music store, and I played one of these, like, man, for an F-style mandolin in this price range, that's crazy. Yeah. So let's talk about some of the features, the specs on that mandolin.
So first, at the time of filming, this mandolin, street price on this is $879. It does come with a gig bag and a lifetime warranty. These are things that we want to point out because those are great features in a intermediate / beginner range on any instrument. You want to make sure you get something with a good warranty and a case of some sort. And it's not just a flimsy case. It is actually a fairly stout gig bag.
Yeah, with good backpack straps. People that are kind of new to mandolins, let's be clear when we say inexpensive. Mandolins start out a lot more expensive than guitars because, and we'll go into this on this mandolin in particular to start us off with, they are a arched top and arched back. So that has a curve to it that gives it a lot of its strength for all that tension, downward pressure. Gives a little bit more resilience, but also helps it with the tone of the instrument.
Yeah, absolutely.
To get there, a lot of less expensive ones, if you get them under $200, are mostly plywood that they just press in a mold and steam them and kind of get that curve in them. But we're talking about a hand-carved, so that means they start out with a solid piece of wood, they have it milled to kind of give it a bit of a curvature, and then they go in and hand-carve it and graduate it where it's actually thicker in some spots and thinner in others to get the most tone and strength out of it.
Absolutely.
Which is a lot more work than a flat top guitar.
That's absolutely true. And one thing that we love about the Eastman mandolins is all of them are hand carved and hand graduated. So they actually are listening and tap toning these in order to get the best possible tone.
A consistent tone.
Thus the reason you'll see a lot of mandolins that say they are hand carved. They may be hand carved, but that does not mean that they have been tap toned and listened to and graduated, or at least in a specific way per instrument. And that does make a difference. The 315 also comes with a bone nut factory.
A lot of times in beginner mandolins, they don't have a radius fretboard, and I'm a big fan of radius fretboards.
So this does have the radius fretboard, does have the larger frets. This is not standard with the, quote, small mandolin frets. It does have a satin finish, which does save quite a bit of expense. We've discussed satin finishes versus gloss finishes. They do have an open tone. It does sound bigger and more barky at the beginning, but over time, a gloss finish tends to open up and also is a lot more focused. So we'll get into that. So The rough specs on this, and then we'll get into the rough specs on that, and then we'll talk about the differences and where that is a gain and a loss in both sides. Again, satin finish, maple back and side, spruce top. It does have a nice cast tailpiece, and like I said, satin finish, good sounding F-style mandolin.
The tuners on this one are going to be kind of lesser, lower quality. That's kind of their entry-level tuners, which do have some failure rate. Eastman with a lifetime warranty will replace them, but that is one step up when you get to this 500 series. They give you a slightly better quality tuner. This one comes with the ivory buttons on it too, which looks pretty classy.
Those are actually the Grover tuners that are factory on those.
It's still going to be just bound on the top one like some of the other models, but it also adds binding to the neck on this one and a small neck fretboard extension on there. Same cast tail piece on there, same radius fretboard, same frets. Then we go to that gloss finish, and the 500 comes in a couple different ones. We have this gloss finish, which is their true tone finish, sunburst. They also have a classic of this, which would be kind of the same look as that one, just kind of that tobacco look.
It's just a brown kind of color. They
call
it classic stain.
They also have the 500 in the comfort contour, which will have that radius edge to the binding, no binding on, I guess just a rounded edge to it. And then lastly, they have the varnish version of the
515 varnish, sure.
But this is going to be the gloss version of the 515. So this is kind of the most standard model and more of that traditional look, that sunburst that you're familiar with in most Gibson style mandolins. Maple back and sides again on both of these. Spruce top. This one goes up to a hard shell case you'll be getting with this one, and it'll be a fit case so that it's shaped to the mandolin shape. Or again, that one's going to have the gig bag in it. So those are the major spec differences between the two.
I'd say that in differences, the big things to try to talk about in the differences here is, yes, this is a quite significant upgrade here. The quality of the maple goes up. If you look on every 515, you will see more figuring in the back, which is a higher quality maple versus a more plain one on the 315s. Same with the tops. They're doing a little bit nicer grade of tops. That tuner upgrade is fairly significant. We're talking about at your price, what was it,
$12.29
$12.29 at the time of filming. So at that price point, you're getting quite a bit of upgrades.
You get the hard shell case, about $100. Then the upgraded tuners.
Upgraded tuners. That finish is a major upgrade, and then just the overall quality of the woods and building materials that they're using on the 515. So definitely a value in getting up there. I'd say that mandolin compares a little bit more towards the F5G as far as looks from Gibson. Has the unbound back and sides, but not the top being bound, and and does kind of stack up in that world a little bit more. Now, definitely different than the Gibson mandolin, but definitely something to kind of.
But appointment-wise, yeah, it's probably more similar to that. Where this, you might say, is a little bit more similar to the F9. Again, not saying they're apples to apples, but more of the same appointments, entry level versus kind of the next step up.
So those are the main difference between the 315 and the 515. We're going to get you to kind of do a little tone demo so you can hear the two different sound-wise, but both great mandolins. Again, if you're looking for a great F-style in the most affordable range, the 315 is your mandolin. If you're wanting to get that step-up instrument, I would say the 515s definitely should be on your list.
But again, if you're liking the look and appeal of this one, and someday you buy that and think, well, I'm going to have to upgrade the tuners, I'm going to have to go out buy myself a hard shell case, you're getting close to the price difference, so it might be worth making the jump for the 515.
So, Jeremy, there you have it. The difference between a MD315 and a 515.
I think it's a great comparison, especially with those people kind of wanting that first level and kind of know the differences in Eastman in particular. If you guys kind of enjoyed that and you are new to buying a mandolin and interested in the difference between an A-style and F, I think you'll really like this video we made where we kind of explain the differences between an A-style body, F-style, F-hole, oval hole. Check that out. I think it's available right here.